So quick questions and answers seems to be the kind of the theme for a little short video. Make the most of the good weather, the bad weather. Welcome to Mordor Gun Dogs. My name's Charlie Thorburn. We're going to just answer some of your questions that we've had on the YouTube channel, and also people have emailed me. So gunshot, someone messaged me about how we introduced a gunshot. The key is do it at a distance, and don't take this as like, this is how you do it. We'll do a video on it sometime, but do it at a distance to start with, and make sure there is a positive. So bang, retrieve, bang, retrieve. Okay, people often go, oh, I took my dog to a clay shooting ground and just let it hear the noises. It's like, well, unless you're giving it like a cup of coffee and a donut, it's not exactly much fun just going to a playground and sitting there with a load of guns going off. There's got to be a positive. So every time we fire a shot, they get a retrieve. That's basically the sort of simple way to encourage a young dog to be interested. We start off just with a sharp clap of our hands, and then we move to a starter pistol in our pocket, then a starter pistol outside, then a dummy launcher, and then a gun further down the line. But we'll do a video on that, so please don't sort of jump to any conclusions, because you can really make a balls up if you get that wrong. Group lessons, pros and cons. Basically, my belief is group lessons before your dog is really, really quite well behaved, a complete waste of time. No one wants to put their kid in a class of 30. They'd much rather have their kid with like one or two other people, or just on their own, because they're going to learn more. It's the same with dogs. A group class with a load of puppies who are all barking, all out of control. Some of the owners are committed, some of them aren't. It's just shit show. No, nothing good coming out of it. People go, oh, socialising. No, don't believe in that. It's all bollocks. Bad socialising, that's what that is. So group classes that we believe in are when your dog is of a level, i.e. walking to heel, off the lead, steady to retrieves, etc. And then it's going to benefit from watching other dogs and being steady, and exposure to more exciting levels of training. They're awesome, okay? And we do some of those, but group classes when they're puppies, our survey says, someone's asked me about chasing wildlife. Again, we're going to have to do a video on its own about this. But prevention is better than cure. We've just done a little video with a young spaniel, and it wasn't wildlife necessarily, but there was the cat. And it's just stopping it happening in the first place is the best thing. Once your dog has got a taste for chasing things, you suddenly have to work so much harder to stop them. And this is where I really, really find the sort of the positive only training completely fails. And I really want someone to come on and debate this with me, because we're always wanting to learn, but this sort of positive only training kind of thing where you never tell the dog off. Once a dog is chasing a pheasant, what the hell do? You've got to get after them. You've got to rugby tackle them. You've got to stop them. And that's a bollocking. That's a negative. That is not positive only, obviously. So I think these days that's called balanced training, because we praise them and we pull them up. To me, it's just common sense. People are like, what do you do in downtime? Like, how do you get the dogs to just have some downtime on a walk? You don't. When they're young, you don't. When they're young and you're out with them in the big wide world, you're always on it. You're always on the ball. You're always training. You're always looking for problems. You're always looking for how something might go wrong, might go right. If they're on a lead, they're walking to heel, they're loose lead. It's not like, oh, I've done my lead training, now I'll let them pull, or I'll let them stand around, pulling me around while I'm talking to my neighbour. You're always on the ball. You're always training. If you want downtime, it's at home, in the garden, in an enclosed pen, in a sort of tennis court sized area where they can just run around and they can just be off duty. But even then, you know, if a swallow goes past and they want to dive bombing the dog or whatever, and they go, oh, I want to chase it, you're like, ah, don't you dare. So we never really like let them do it completely. I mean, a little bit like kids, you know, you never totally let them do their own thing, do you? You know, if they start climbing up onto the roof on a ladder that looks like it's all going to fall down, you're not going to go, oh, well, they're not on lessons, they're on downtime. No, you're always kind of going, that's just not going to end well. Someone's asked about food. We are going to do a really, really good video and part of our podcast on dog food. So I'm really sorry I keep sort of skirting this question, but I want to do it properly in depth, not just a quick kind of, oh, we feed this, because that just doesn't help anybody. Age to introduce to a lead. Slightly how long is a bit of string? The later the better, but obviously circumstances dictate that if you live somewhere where you have to put your dog on a lead, you need to do it quite early. There's the odd sort of situation where I would just, you know, tell people that they've got to do it. I try and tell people to avoid it. take your dog to the park, carry it, whatever. Don't have it walking down the street when it's really young. But we just did a lesson in our video just now with a 4-month-old cocker who's being introduced to the lead and walking okay in short little amounts, and he's 4 months old. That's definitely urging on the young side for me. I'd normally say 5 months. I just want their neck muscles to be strong and developed, so that if I give them a little tug, they, I know it's not going to do them any harm. And I also know that they're mentally old enough to handle it. And a lot of it is not just physical, it's about the mental ability to understand what they're doing wrong. And I would say Spaniels probably, even though they're mental, I would say they're probably mentally ready earlier than a Labrador. They do mature a bit quicker. And as on average, smaller dogs do grow and mature quicker. Little West Highland Terriers and things are fully grown by the time they're kind of 8 months old. They're in season at 5 months old. Some of our Labradors don't come in season until they're a year, and then you get like a Irish Wolfhound or something who really isn't fully grown and mature till it's about 2.5, 3. One of the questions are like, oh, it's all well and good, you've got the dogs focused on you, they're kennel dogs. How can we do that when they're not in a kennel? And I'm sure I've talked about this before, but not all of our dogs are kennel dogs. And I'm going to chuck up a clip of Lemon running around focused on us training, and Lemon's not a kennel dog at all. She's in the house, she sleeps on the sofa. She's never grown up in a kennel. From day one she has been in the house, living the lap of luxury, and she is super focused. So it's more about your discipline and making sure whenever you ask them to do something, whether they're inside or outside, you insist that it happens and you don't get casual. And the other thing is yes, some time away from you is key. So doesn't have to be in a kennel, but in the boot room or in a crate or something, so they're away from you, so that when you bring them out of their crate, and they're a bit overexcited, but they're overexcited to be with you because they're getting out. Okay, so that's kind of how we would manage that, because realistically the only reason I have kennels is because I've got lots of dogs, and it's just the only way we can manage it. I'm not like you must have dogs in a kennel. I mean, when my wife met me, I think I had 11 or something in the house, and 5 or 6 of them slept on my bed. So I'm not a kind of out and out hardened kennel dog kind of person. But yes, some downtime away from you is the key with that. And then someone has asked me about the different commands we use, and they noticed that in a video with Dan with Waffle, he was using the same command for sending it for retrieve. As for getting him to hunt, actually he was probably just a bit camera starstruck. I don't know, for being on. We have very, very set commands, which we'll happily share with anybody who wants to email. We can send them to you. Sit, heel. Out is for fetch. Gone away is to hunt. Get over is to jump. And lost is to seek kind of tightly in an area. And a bed is obviously bed. And a few others. Down is to lie down. Then off is to, when they're jumping up, is a sort of negative. It's not really a command, it's more of a correction. And leave it as well. But anyone who's interested can email us, and we can fire you off our list of commands. We're going to set up a link on our website just so that people can get those anytime they like. So I hope that's useful. Little questions and answers. I feel like lots of people seem to be enjoying it. So please keep the questions coming. It's quite an easy clip to do on a pissing wet day in Scotland, which we're going to have plenty of as we're coming into the winter. So thank you all for watching. Remember, you get out what you put in. See you all next time.